Ahoy VC, welcome to the Personal Oasis. This is the Blind Island. I'm your host Isaac, and today I'm going to be entering into a contest. Chris Propfe's Nifty 650. Congratulations, Chris, on your growing subscriber count, and just the channel that you produce is a fantastic one. We're all very blessed to have it in our lives, and I wish you many, many more subscribers. I know that there have been a lot of entries into this contest, so this is pretty much just to support Chris and just say congratulations on your continued success. Now, I am going to continue on with the entry. The first question was, what are the first and last albums in your collection based on how you organize them? And I don't really want to get into how I organize everything. I go with Noble Records' thought process on it. It organize things based on how your mind works. So I'm just gonna go with the first album that I have in my cabinet to the last album in my cabinet. And the first one that I pulled out was Roy Ayers' Coffee. Great soundtrack to a blaxploitation film, and one that is definitely a treasure in my collection. A record that continually brings a funky, groovy jazz beat. And if you have never heard of this, or you haven't listened to many blaxploitation soundtracks, this is a great place to start. And then the last one in my collection is Cedar Walton's The Electric Boogaloo song. Great boogaloo jazz right here, and found for $1 at an antique mall from the Fantasy label. Cedar Walton is an organist and keyboard player that really never gained a lot of traction, and he's come out with a ton of material, but I don't think that many people would think of Cedar Walton as a preeminent keyboardist, and they really should. This guy really rips, and it's a fantastic record. Check it out. It's pretty cheap on Discogs from my understanding, and you should definitely pick up a copy. It's well worth your time. Then I'm not gonna do these questions in any particular order. One of the questions was Led Zeppelin or Deep Purple. Now, these are two groups that, Marikin, I gave the response, and I kind of am on the same boat, that Led Zeppelin and Deep Purple are two groups that, I really appreciate, but I don't spend a ton of time listening to. However, I found myself gravitating more towards Deep Purple recently. I would have to go with just how many records are in my collection of Led Zeppelin, just because it's, I have almost their entire discography. I'm just missing their self-titled album, and then I'll have the entirety of their discography. And Led Zeppelin 3, to me, is one of the greatest albums that they ever released, and Since I've Been Loving You is one of the best songs ever cut. Great tune, great album, and that would just be my answer for Led Zeppelin versus Deep Purple. Next is the question, show an album by a well-known artist that may not be very well known. And the one that I went with is King Crimson, Islands. This is a German pressing of this record, and I really like the European pressings of this album because the artwork is a lot better. The American pressing went with the inner sleeve artwork, and it just doesn't have the same oomph as this Quasar international beauty feel, and spacey. And this is really heavy on the jazz elements of prog. It is a little bit all over the place, but man, some of the elements in here are so freaking good. And the saxophone playing on here is top tier, top notch. It reminds me a lot of John Zorn. I think he might be the one playing on this record, but don't quote me on that. I'm just pulling that out of my butt. And I believe that the lead singer for this particular record went on to be the lead singer for Bad Company. So lots of history around this record. It's not one that many people will think of when they think of King Crimson, but it is definitely a sleeper in their discography. Next is showing a record that has primarily blue on its on its artwork, and I went with Jim Hall's Concierto. I know that a lot of people have been showing Joni Mitchell's Blue, but I thought I would change up the dynamic here. It's just that rich, dark blue, and it matches the music that's within. This is such a great album, filled with fantastic players: Paul Desmond, Chet Baker, Ron Carter, Roland Hanna. It is a total monster of a record, and one that is in the top 10 of the CTI label. I love this album, and I highly recommend that anyone who hasn't listened to this record, give it a chance. Most people know Concierto de Aruñez from Sketches of Spain by Miles Davis, but if you're not a really big fan of the Mexicali flair of that one, then I think you would really like the downplayed, super blue sound of this record. So great, phenomenal album. Now I'm going to show you my speakers. As for the speakers downstairs in our system, we have a Marantz SP800. I got these paired for 16 bucks at St. Vinny's, and they usually go for around 100 to 150, and they're not high-end premium, but for the downstairs set, this is a fantastic pair of speakers. They give out a really rich, bold sound, and really can kick it. And finally, a question that Chris posited was, what are 2 albums that you have on your want list right now? And 2 albums that I am desperately seeking are the Louvin Brothers' Satan is Real. That is an album that I have wanted and been hunting for years, and it just is one of my favorite albums of all time. I think that it's a fantastic record, and just one of those albums that brings a lot of joy to me whenever I listen to it. I love just the deep Christian message that's on it, and it's something that you just don't hear in records a lot these days. So really good album, one that I'm seeking. And then another album that I am looking for is a Funkadelic Maggot Brain. I think that I would love to have that one, add that to the collection. I've been really digging on the Funkadelic sound, and Maggot Brain has been one that I've wanted for quite a while, but recently it's really upped its status in Grail territory. So those are 2 from my want list that I am really wanting right now. So that is my entry into Chris Propfe's Nifty 650 contest. Again, congratulations, Chris, on your subscriber count. I hope that you continue to grow, and you're just a great guy. Love talking with you, and I wish you the very best. And for everyone else, I hope that you all have a great day on your own personal oasis. Cheers.